when we were doing our walkabout, we ended up at with Jackie Frazier at Fisher, sorry, at Sunset Drug. She pulled in here. We'll say 2 years to be nice, because she had a space. It's now their print shop, and she showed that and was recruiting them to come out. In the meantime, we know Lynn Cernata is our elected representative for the hospital district, and so through the conversations that the three of us had with Jackie, there have been countless interactions with Lynn, and Lynn actually sent us on a shopping trip looking for a place for Harbor Regional Health to be in Ocean Shores. They've got no down payment, and they have no ability to spend money on leasehold improvements, but they want us to get them a space. So we set Lynn back to say, what's the budget that Tom will give us? You know, how much a month will he spend on a clinic out here? Still no answer. Supposedly, as we speak, he is speaking to CMAR about potentially having space in theirs. Was there extra space inside CMAR when you were working there?
No.
Yeah. So that's a great, you know.
It'd have to be built on.
Yep.
Okay, so that's not helpful,
No.
but that's what the last thing Lynn told us that they were doing. So all I know to do is keep the pressure on Lynn, who's elected out here to represent us, with that hospital, because if you already know that there's no space in there, I don't know what he's doing wasting our time.
Yeah, there is.
Unless it's going to be a weekend clinic, and they're not going to do a what's a critical care?
Critical care or emergency.
They've got a new word. Is it prompt care or some other acronym that's somewhere in between? But they still weren't going to do what you were suggesting we needed. But
You know, that's a real concern of my husband and I, because
Sure.
as we age,
Sure.
I need to be able to get help for him or myself when we need it. And we go to the fire hall. They tell us to go to the fire hall before they take us to CMAR.
Yeah.
They do.
That's madness.
The biggest issue with healthcare in Ocean Shores is reimbursement rate. And so it's not an issue of can we or can't we have it out here. Jackie, she's been dealing with this for years, trying to get somebody in here. But because the reimbursement rate for Medicare and Medicaid is so low, it's not financially viable for doctors or anything to move in here. It's not an issue that doctors wouldn't come here. They would love to come here. And that's a state legislative. We need to get somebody to address that out here in Ocean. And it's not just here. It's in all the rural areas.
Demographics are changing enough, though, that it's starting to pique maybe some more interest because of because you've got the development in North Beach, you've got Seabrook, you've got what's happening here, and the dynamics changing from when those conversations were initially had. So the fact that Rich can pick up the phone and reach out to the representative for the representing us for the health department or the hospital district, that's
But we
huge.
all need to.
We
do
need
you
to
know
apply the
how
pressure.
effective that would be to send emails for fun at least once a month to the CEO and to Lynn?
Yeah.
You're taking our taxes and you're giving us zero in return.
Yep. And they take a
And-
lot of our money.
But
A lot.
you know, city council, we can make phone calls. We can do our best. But you know, it's the pressure from the masses that eventually get results.
Yeah, well, that just kind of making me ask another question, Lisa. When you were saying, don't let them get away with not like giving back the millions of dollars for the roads and stuff, and you said, don't let them get away with it. But we as citizens, what do we do to not let them get away with it?
Apply pressure to your city council.
I got to tell you, you know,
That's exactly how,
The
because the city
emails.
council's the one who votes to turn that back.
Okay.
So if you
Yeah,
have
but
a 4-3 vote, you
but-
need to
So-
be
But the
on
healthcare, the
council.
city council has no, because
Yeah.
of the rates and stuff, we can't change that. But can we look and maybe partner with the Quinault? They can bring a healthcare down here. And I've heard that they've talked about, working with them is a little bit challenging, but there's potential that could happen.
but we already have an elected official. Let's put the heat on her to do her job.
Okay.
That's what else does she do for us? That's her job. Represent us. And she is North Beach. She's our district. So I would say constant emails saying, don't forget us, we need help, we need help, we need help. Just like with council. Email. Tell them how you're thinking.
Pick up the phone and call and just say, this is really important to me. you need to vote for this, you need to do this.
So my husband instead says, we need to look for someplace else closer to good health care.
Yep.
And leave Ocean Shores, and I don't want to leave Ocean Shores.
And that's not
But that's
fair,
what happens,
and,
and
peop-
it's
and that's
sad.
what's been happening, and we need to try to
Divorce
stop
rate
that.
raising or what?
That's how us younger folks get
Yeah.
housing.
Maybe a question
So,
here.
yeah, changing the subject a bit, we all need health care, but you mentioned taxes that we pay and we don't get anything out of. Well, the port is one of those. And are we going to ever get anything out of the money that we put into the
Well, I
port?
just made a call 2 days ago to our local one is Stan Pinnock, but I already figure he's all for whatever we want, right? So I'm calling Tom Quigg, just kind of
Yeah.
chirping in his ear about our marina. I'm
Yeah.
like, Tom, I just think it's a brilliant idea that you guys take over the marina. You could work something out with the Quinaults, and you got the tax base to handle it. And then he wanted to educate me on how much a float costs and how they're going to put $30 million into Westport over the next 10 years to redo all the floats. And they just did this, and they just did that. And I'm like, well, that's awesome. Sounds like there's a little extra that maybe we could do up here. Because, you guys living on this side, for my brother, my sister-in-law was just there, drives all the way to Westport to put his boat in to go fishing.
It's a pain putting it in
It's
here.
ridiculous.
So just a caveat on that suction dredge, it can do the marina. If we could work with the tribe, it can also do the marina.
And we do it at night and weekends.
But the one thing the port has done that nobody actually knows, the port and actually the mayor, specifically the port, working with Derek Kilmer, were the ones who got the Army Corps to commit the next 10 years at rebuilding our jetty. And that actually was a huge part of the port, putting their pressure on Army Corps with Derek Kilmer. And over the, it stopped because of COVID, but the mayor has signed the preliminary. They're going to start at the sewer plant, and then they say it's going to take 10 years to finish it. But they've committed to doing that. And so that is something the port did help us with. It wasn't anything, they didn't give any money, but they did help pressure the Army Corps for that.
And Gary Nelson at the port really is the center spoke. He's, you want to ask a question about where we're at with the jetty, he knows. So he's a great contact to know where we're at. And I guess we're in permitting right now.
Yeah.
So, but more importantly, we need to keep working the two senators in Kilmer, because it's like a fire drill every time the 20-year mark hits, and we're like, oh man, we need the jetty done. And it's like, it needs to be in the Army Corps' maintenance budget. It needs to be part of their 20-year plan, and it's not. It's
Well,
always,
it is now. That's where they got it.
well,
They got
it's in it for this thing, but then it'll be gone, and 20
Right.
years from now, we're going to do this all over again.
Whatever happened to the viewing tower that the port was supposed to put in here?
It's in Westport.
No, they talked about it. That's something that Tom talked about, and I said, well, the good news, Tom, is it doesn't need to be tall as Westport's is. We're already at the jetty. You're already seeing in there, so I'm not sure. Also, I'm not. Where was it said they were going to put it? Because up downtown,
Yeah.
The high trail.
the High Dune Trail. Okay, let's say because the jetty's all private, and Damon Point, there's no land left.
Yeah, they. I mean, when we asked about years ago, they said, well, we're not going to do that. So I don't know if there's anything new from that, but
Yeah, he brought it up himself here when I talked to him a couple days ago. But that doesn't mean it's on their budget. But it was on his brain at least.
But I'm sure we were given $500,000. I'm sure that's gone up with the amount of people that are coming in. So we give them a lot of money, the port.
Where's the ferry stand in the list?
Wouldn't that be nice?
That would bring in so much.
Yeah, well, again, the mayor had worked hard on that
I know.
with the transit authority, with Westport, and the transit authority pulled out.
Oh, I didn't hear that.
Yeah, the transit authority pulled out because they said it wasn't viable. There's nowhere to do it. It would cost too much money, and they pulled out of it.
Because they're
But
they're an
Westport and
important
Ocean
part.
Shores still want to do it, but the transit authority said they don't want to be a part
Because
of it.
we need the transit from the jetty to
Yeah.
get the tourists into town.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, they would do that, but they were actually gonna manage the ferry itself,
Yeah.
and they pulled out of that part of it.
They need a place to land it.
That's a fun project.
Yeah, well, the main thing is we have no place to land it.
Well, that's why you guys were
Unique
talking
Marina.
about hydrofoils and all sorts of
Yeah, which actually I saw it. That would be way cool, and they could come right up to the airport. But the maintenance on those things was just crazy expensive. Because I actually saw. I mean, you could pay like.
Do you need help,
That
Eddie?
would just be and I was all about it, but then the maintenance is crazy.
You guys look like you're cooking out there.
Some of it's cold.
All right, well, if that's all,
They're gonna be around.
sure.
We'll wander around.
Come on in and yeah.
There's lots of food available and lots of beverages.
It's difficult to walk, isn't it?